I don't know if anybody else has been playing around with household products, but I've been playing around with, you know, common household products or cleaning agents while I'm restoring, vehicles and bikes, motorcycles and cars to see what's the most effective way of combating either rust, preventing rust, or how to clean things. If you want to, let's say you have a swing arm or a chain, you got to clean it. It's difficult. It's even more difficult when you live in such a humid and wet area like I do. Typically, on a sunny day, you're looking at 80 to 90% humidity, and on some days it's just unbearable. And that's at 9 a.m., 8 a.m. So you're talking humidity on levels that you could not imagine, and it will suck the water right out of your body like you won't believe. Now, why I'm saying about humidity is because that humidity will accelerate the rusting or the oxidation process of either, like your chain or your swing arm or any part of your vehicle. Now, this is specifically going to be catered to a chain. Now, I've tried to recondition a chain, and one of the most effective methods is one of those little gallon containers of acid called a carburetor and parts cleaner where you dip it in. It's a very effective method of getting both oil and rust off. The only problem is that if you put a gold chain in there, it's going to strip it of the gold. You know, the electroplating on the chain comes right off because it's acid. And when you take it out, you're going to see flakes everywhere. So I don't recommend that. But if you have a chain and you have some rust on it, it's not really going to combat the rust until you scrub it. Okay. Now, in my opinion, the most effective, vinegar is one way, the acidic of vinegar is one way to also prevent rust. But I'm going to tell you, I've not really seen some of the stuff that people claim on the internet and stuff. I mean, it has a little effect and you can see a little bit of a difference, but for all practical purposes, it's useless. You're rendering yourself obsolete if you're using vinegar to to get rust off, say like a motorcycle chain or a bicycle chain. The most effective method is a combination of things, and I haven't tried everything out there, but so far this is the formula for the things that I have gotten the best results from. The most effective product is going to be CLR. Okay, now CLR typically is sold in a drugstore, and they're $5 for a quart. Now this is a I don't know if you have a dollar store or here in America. Here in America, we have a place, these dollar stores, and everything in it's $1. All your household cleaning products is $1, from Pine Sol to you know laundry detergent, liquid detergent, everything just $1. This right here, this degreaser right here, is $1. This whole thing is an all-purpose degreaser. This is $1. Okay, this is almost a gallon. This is 64 fluid ounces. This is almost a gallon. You go to an auto store. You go somewhere to buy degreaser. You're looking at about maybe $10 for this thing. So degreasers, and I've used every single one through the years. Like uh, that purple stuff, super clean, made by Castrol. The stuff is awesome. It's so slippery, it goes on there and then it just cleans the oil right off. The only problem is it's $5 for a little spray bottle. You'll go through a spray bottle in like 10 minutes. So it's good, but it's expensive. Um, this is not as good this is not as good, but you have to use other things to get the power of it to a level that you can use. Now, CLR is very dangerous stuff. If you stuff, everybody that uses CLR, this is very similar. You get it at a dollar store. It's called lime, calcium, and rust. That is CLR. CLR stands for calcium, lime, and rust. This product is similar or equal to CLR. It's not as powerful, but it's very effective. This stuff has a chemical reaction on metal. So the minute you touch metal with it, you'll see it bubble and fizz. If you have any open sores and you get this onto your open sore, it will sting like somebody stuck a needle in your arm. Okay? So you want to have gloves on when you work with this if you have any open sores or any medical issues or open wounds. Um, this by itself is very effective on rust and um, cleaning metal, such as aluminum. The problem, the problem with this is the time span, and it takes a while before you get some experience with these types of chemicals, the CLR types. If you leave the if you leave this agent on metal for too long, it goes from looking perfect to turning black. It's some type of oxidation where everything turns black on you. If you take a degreaser, you have to get a metal brush and scrub it off, and then it looks awesome again. Kinda. But once you get to that point, there's nothing you can do but to wet sand it. Okay? Now, when you introduce rust to this, it will eliminate the rust. But you have to ask what the rust is causing it. Is it mixed in with dirt and it's so corroded that it's not going to come off because you have to degrease it also? You don't really know. So here's what I would recommend you to do, and I'm not don't you know there's some danger here. The danger here is this stuff reacts, and the danger here is that you have to get this stuff off the material. Okay, when you dilute it, when you dilute this, okay, you reduce the strength of it so that the after effects don't occur. So what I'm going to recommend or what I'm going to suggest is reducing the potency of this CLR, um, and mix it. And what you mix it with, there are three ingredients that I've had a lot of success with, and these are common household things, common household chemicals. The first one, and you can either use this one or you can go get the they call it baking laundry baking soda. It's made by Arm& and Hammer. It's a baking soda, but it's a laundry detergent. It's the most awesome thing I've ever seen, man. I got high visibility. See this yellow right here? You stick that in there, it turns it like as bright as you can. I mean, it's like the brightest you've ever seen this sucker. Even when it was brand new, it looks brighter than when it was brand new. So the Arm& and Hammer stuff is really effective. You got to soak it in there, and does that on colors. But this is very similar to it. It's some type of OxyClean. It's like a Oxy Orange Citrus Cleaner. Now, citrus is a great degreaser. That that citrus degreaser is awesome. But at $3 for a spray bottle, it's almost expensive as Super Clean. Okay, so you can go through a bottle in 1 hour. I mean, I go through this stuff like crazy. Um, this stuff is only $1. You get a lot. You're only going to use one scoop of it, so you know it comes out to maybe 2 cents, 2 to 5 cents per scoop. This one, you're probably going to use. This is $1, so you're probably using less than 10 cents per application. You have to get experience with this stuff because, like I said, this stuff has a chemical reaction on the metal. If you have brass or copper and you pour this on there, it will turn sparkling like brand new in a snap of a finger. The minute it hits copper and the minute it hits brass, turns it brand new just like that. That's how fast the chemical reaction is. That's varnish. Okay, that stuff's called varnish, and it happens frequently. You dip this thing in it, and it's clean. It's gone. I think this was the stuff that they showed on TV where they dipped the stuff and pulled it out like tin and silver, and it was like brand new. This is very similar. The minute that stuff touches copper, brass, or even silver, we're talking brand new. You leave it in that solution. Now, especially if you have um, ammunition brass, and I've used to clean a lot of ammunition brass before I reload it. I've tried this stuff before, and the stuff really is good for ammunition brass. Um, so if you have ammunition brass and you want to turn it brand new, that's what you need right there. That's what you use. You pour that into it in 100% form, you better get it off of there too, because it will keep on. If you rinse it, it will keep on reacting a week later, and it's going to look like crap. So you have to make sure that all that stuff is gone. My suggestion is to boil it, strain it, and let it air dry. When you do that, the water just dries and the material just dehydrates immediately. So if you boil it after using it, you're gonna stop that rusting process or the chemical reaction afterwards. But if you use it cold, it's not going to be very effective because you can't get rid of it, even if you dilute it. So you're going to make a cocktail. That cocktail is going to be a degreaser, any degreaser of your choice. I'm not saying I'm a cheapskate. I'm just saying that I'm playing around with stuff to see what combinations are the most effective, or what what the maximum potency when you put a little of this and a little of this on here. What causes a reaction to get the best outcome, to maximize your outcome. Um, this is by far the strongest stuff that you'll get. If you soak a bolt in this stuff overnight, you can just scrub it clean with a toothbrush and it'll look brand new. I mean, it's pretty incredible stuff. You soak this stuff for a week. I take my upper head. I take an upper head. I soak it in this stuff in hot water. This stuff in a degreaser. 24 hours. My God, I scrub that. That stuff just comes right off. I mean, we're talking. You know how difficult engines are. I mean, this stuff won't even come off if you power wash it. You have to sandblast this stuff. Well, I don't have a sandblaster, and I don't want to pay for a sandblaster. I don't want to buy a cabinet. I don't want to do all this stuff. It's messy. It's expensive. Maybe there's a better way. Okay, so you make a cocktail of it. I don't know what the percentage or the solution is, so I'll just wing it. A lot of degreaser, a little water. Don't use regular water. Use osmosis water, or reverse osmosis. That strips everything: metals, chlorine, chemical particles, everything. That water is at the basic minimum. It is reverse osmosis. I use a water filter, faucet filter, so I'm getting pretty good stuff out of there. Put your oxidation or the Arm & Hammer laundry detergent. This stuff is awesome, man. You put this in laundry and stuff is awesome. Arm & Hammer is a lot better than this, but it's expensive stuff. It's about $4 for it. I go through quite a bit of it. Actually, I don't. I just buy this stuff because it's industrial. It's the smell on it. It makes you feel like, oh man, that stuff is industrial stuff. But you boil it. So you boil the water and you heat this up. It's good that you have like a hot plate. You can heat this up to about 100 or boiling point. Make a solution in a bucket or a container. Get it to its boiling point. Stick your chain in there. Keep it heated. Remember, keep it heated so that it can react. Let this stuff work. In about 24 hours, the rust should be gone. This stuff is very effective on chains. But the problem with this stuff is that in a 100% solution, you can't get it off. It's so difficult to get it off. For my chains, the most effective way for me to combat rust in my chain is to paint it. and I have a video on how I painted it. Now, the way to do this without painting it is to strip it down to its bare metal and dip it in clear coat. You you heard me say it right. Dip it in clear coat, and the clear coat that you use is the Rust-Oleum $15. It is as thin as water. So when you dip it and when you pull it out, you're gonna say, "Oh my God, is it on even on there?" It's like water. It's water. When you dip it and pull it out, it seals the whole chain, even the rubber. Now it's not gonna affect the rubber, okay? Because once you grease it, it's just gonna give a protective coating on the rubber. So what I do is I go ahead and paint it however I want to paint it, like gold, and then I dip the chain, and now I got a gold chain. And so far, I love it. No problem with rust. Looks awesome. I paint it any way I want, and there's no rust. I have to deal with these environmental factors that just frustrate me. In 2 days, that chain can just turn to rust on me, even though I oil it, even though I take all these steps. I mean, the humidity level is astronomical. So if you want to scrub it with a brush, if it's a gold chain, don't scrub it with a brush. If it's a silver or metallic like gunmetal, scrub it with a brush. Okay, but don't injure it to get it all scarred and marred up. Gently soak it and gently scrub it. Once you get it to a point where it's shiny new, you may want to buff it a little, whatever. Dip it in the clear coat, and it's going to seal everything. It won't rust on you. In about an hour, that chain will rust. I've tried spraying WD-40 on it in the past, and it only works on chains that are not, uh, plated. If you have a gold chain, it ain't going to work. WD-40, that stuff ain't going to work. And not only that, the shine will not come back either. The shine on the gold chain will not come back. So I don't know how to keep the gold plating on there because some of this stuff is very powerful. You may scratch it, you may do whatever. But what I do is I take a bare chain and I make it gold, and it works great once I seal it. If you have a gold chain, and if it's a good gold chain, you soak it in that chemical carburetor, it'll strip the gold right out of it. This stuff is not as strong, and you're relying on the heat and a weak solution of this to combat the rust. In about 24 to 48 hours, the rust should be off of there, and it's so weak that it's not going to really react to a point where it's just, it goes up like that, and then it just takes it. It goes up, and then it just takes a dive like crazy. If you go past that point, all your stuff looks like totally crazy. So, if you ask me, that is the most effective way to clean your chain or to restore your chain without scrubbing the hell out of it, without doing crazy stuff. You can try WD-40. I've tried it. I'm not convinced. Plus, I don't use WD-40 anymore. I go through like 3 bottles in a week. So I may keep a bottle around, but I don't want to use it too much because if I just go through this stuff is awesome. When you're cleaning when you're doing the bores when you're doing the bore on your pistons, or when you're putting in the pistons, WD-40 is great because it will rust on you like crazy. Put that stuff on there, it looks brand new. Stuff like that, for real serious stuff, it's great, but it's a little too, you can go through about $30 in a month if you start going crazy on that stuff. But you can try WD-40. That is effective. You can, because what will happen is once you coat the chain, once you get the chain clean and then hit it with WD-40, it's not going to rust on you. You understand what I'm trying to say? You just stopped it. So you use this stuff to get all the rust off, and then you hit it with WD-40 immediately to stop the rust. And then if you have any little traces of it, then you can clean it with WD-40 afterwards with a toothbrush. If you boil it or use hot water, keep it on a hot plate or keep it hot for about 24 to 48 hours with a degreaser, oxygenator, or Arm & Hammer. and a small solution of this or a heavy solution, depending on how much cleaning you have to do. But remember, the more you use of this, the more overkill it can become. But this is by far the most effective for rust. Um, so I hope that helps. You know, there's somehow in that something you will probably see a light bulb. You know, the light bulb may go off and say, "Aha!" You know, let me try that. But these are by far the most effective chemical agents, household chemical agents that you can get to really, you know, combat grease, oil, rust, and just shine your parts to a point where it's new. So um, I've also noticed that you know these rotary tools are you can't live without them. These are such workhorses that I went and made my own. This is a homemade rotary tool. Okay, I use this like crazy. This one's a plug-in. I have a battery. Here it is. I got a battery one where I stick 4 batteries in there to get it to 15 volts, 16 volts. And the suckers just, the torque on these things are just astronomical. The torque on these things is just super. This one's a plug-in, but sometimes I don't want to set it up. I just want to grab it, turn it on, and use it for 10 seconds. You know, I don't want to set up this equipment, go plug it in and stuff. Crazy. Take it outside. No, no, no. I'm going to grab a battery operated one, turn it on, and wham, 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 wham. I'm done with it. I got 4 of these. I made 4 of these, if you believe it. And I love them. I absolutely love them. There's the scoop. These are from Gatorade bottles. Scoop on a Gatorade bottle. Little LED back here. Little 12-volt plug right here. Collet and the shaft. And basically, you just hold it like a gun and just hold it like you would and do what you want. You know, I drill, I cut. I use these little brushes. I got a bag full of about 200 of these brushes, the brass little brushes for cleaning. And when I'm doing my head and I'm doing the valves and stuff, I'll take this little thing and I'll go in there and do every little fine little thing on the valves. Everything comes off. I soak it in this stuff and then I just push this brush on it and it's gone. It's clean. It's like it's brand new. If it's still stuck, I take wet sand, using this wet sand and just hold it on there with spin it with a drill. Cleans it like it's brand new. Like they're not even like it just came out of a freaking shop. So you're not gonna get too much cleaning done if you don't have a rotary. And if you want to do your chain, I highly suggest you get a rotary or even a metal brush. But a metal brush is extremely abrasive. This stuff is very, very light. You can get into little crevices and stuff with that stuff, and it'll just strip the rust right off. That's a very, very time consuming method. You know, it's not something that you want to be doing all day, or you know, it's a pain in the ass. So my recommendation is to soak it in hot solution, 24 to 48 hours. Keep the temperature extremely high. Use this stuff. This stuff is the most effective thing to combat rust, other than Loctite. It doesn't leave a black residue. It doesn't convert the rust. It just eats it away. It eats it away. The water will turn brown. The water will literally turn brown on you. Keep it in that hot solution. Pull it out. If you go real heavy on it, go heavy on it. Go heavy on it. Brush it, whatever. Dip it in that Rust-Oleum clear coat that I mentioned that I use often for 15 bucks a quart. Dip it in that stuff and it's sealed. Done. It will never rust on you again. It's sealed. That's it. Okay. So hope that helps. Maybe you get an idea. If you get a better idea or figure out something, let me know because I'm still playing around with household products, man.